Let's see. After the mass extinction of humanity, the life of a teenager raised alone by a robot changes completely when she runs into another human who makes her doubt what she perceived as her reality. So today on Cinema Recapped, I'll show you I Am Mother.
The movie begins with a facility called the repopulation facility, where we learn that it's been days after the extinction of humanity. In this place, human embryos are stored, and at the moment there are no humans. Then, a machine gets assembled and starts up a humanoid robot, which conceals a human embryo. We see how this humanoid robot sits down to wait for the embryo to develop. Because of the advanced technology, only a few hours pass, and the embryo is ready to be born. The robot takes the baby out of the incubator, cleans her and talks to her tenderly, while holding her. Years pass, and the robot keeps taking care of the baby, feeds her, accompanies her while she begins to take her first steps, and educates her as if she were her mother. The baby grows up, learns how to speak, and we see that she's aware of her situation cause she tells the robot that she does not want to be human, since humans were the ones who spoiled the world. The robot answers her that humans can become great people, and that very soon she will make more humans like her, in order to be a bigger family, which makes the girl very happy. The girl becomes a teenager who is well educated by the robot, since sometimes she can even repair her robot mother using the knowledge she got from her. On a normal day in the facilities, suddenly everything turns off, even the robot mom, so the teenager looks for what caused the blackout, and shortly after she finds a rodent which has bitten some wires. The girl immediately repairs the wires and coats the rodent in a small container. When the power is restored, the robot mother wakes up and asks about the blackout, so the teenager answers that it was caused by the small rodent that she has in the container. The robot immediately burns the animal in a crematorium since it came from outside and could bring an illness to the teenager. The teenager is not happy with this act, so she comments that perhaps the exterior is now habitable, but the robot replies that it's unlikely and apologizes for what happened to the rodent. The girl reflects on what happened, and the robot asks what is happening to her, so she answers that perhaps she could be wrong, and there could be life out there, which the robot refuses outright, and reaffirms that her calculations have never been wrong. From one moment to another the light begins to fail again, and in an attempt to discover what is causing it, the girl hears noises outside and decides to come closer, and wears a special suit to go out, without the consent of her mother. Shortly before leaving, the noise gets closer, and the girl discovers that it comes from a strange woman from the outside, who is badly injured and asks for help. She lets her enter the first gate, but tells her that she must wait there since when she opened the gate, the metallic mother got alarmed and will come soon. The teenager, fearful of what her mother can do, decides to hide the woman from her and cure her in private. Shortly after she manages to slip away from her mother so she can help the stranger. This woman realizes that what the teenager calls mother is actually an android, and tells the young woman that she needs to get out of there, since an android was the one who shot her outside. The mother locates them, and immediately the stranger begins to shoot her, but the robot easily avails the bullets and submits the stranger, so the teenager asks her to cure her, since she is badly injured and scared. The mother does not like this but decides to help her. However, the stranger is scared and does not let the mother touch her. Therefore, the robot leaves her alone so that she can heal herself, but she locks her up for everyone's safety. After what happened, mother and daughter have a talk, and the young woman asks her mother for explanations about the androids being dangerous, and she answers her that she only lied a little for her safety, but that she does not have to be scared, since she has never hurt her. The robot also tells her that perhaps there are more survivors out there, and that they have to make the stranger cooperate in order to help them all. For this reason the young woman tries to chat and make the stranger cooperate, but she replies that she does not trust the androids, and that the young woman shouldn't either. The teenager replies that her mother is not like that she has always taken care of her, but the stranger tells her that soon she will not. Shortly after, the woman's health gets worse, so mother and daughter have to intervene or she will die, but even in her state the woman refuses to be cured by the robot, so the young woman decides to do the operation. The woman accepts, but with a certain level of distrust, and asks not to be anesthetized, and that the robot does not approach either. The operation is a complete success, and the robot congratulates her daughter for such achievement. The woman loses consciousness, but she's stable. When she wakes up after the operation, she sees the young woman, who was taking care of her while she was sleeping. She tells her that she has done a lot for her, so she's grateful. After chatting for a few moments, the woman confides that there are several humans living in the mines, but she only tells the young woman secretly, since she still mistrusts the robot. The woman invites the young woman to accompany her to the mines since neither of them belongs there. At that precise moment, the robotic mother arrives and interrupts the conversation, asking her daughter to leave, because she has other duties. Once outside the stranger's room, the robot tells her daughter that the woman has not been entirely sincere, since the bullet they extracted in the operation is from a human weapon, and not an android one as she said. Then, the young woman is thoughtful and in turn the robot asks her for details of the conversation she had with the strange woman, and the girl comments that she has not said anything, which is a lie. We see that mother and daughter continue with their normal lives. The young woman approves a test easily, so her robot mom gives her the right to choose her first brother. In other words, she chooses the next embryo that will be incubated so that the family grows. The young woman gets excited because she will soon have a little brother. After receiving the news, the teenager decides to go with the woman and ask her for an explanation regarding the bullet, which the woman denies, and comments that the robot is lying to her. At this point the young woman cannot even sleep well since she does not know what is happening, who is telling her the truth and who is lying. So she decides to steal the access key from her mother, and investigate the bullets to see who of them told the truth. When investigating the things protected by her mother, she finds the bullet they extracted and compares it with the one from the stranger's weapon, and realizes that indeed the bullets were not the same, so the woman was telling the truth. But things get even worse, cause among the private things of her robotic mother, she finds some strange files with the numbering of some empty spaces, where there were embryos before. The young woman feels more and more confused and continues to investigate. When she opens the files, she finds photos of other girls that according to the files were failed projects. Continuing to investigate the archives, she ends up verifying that the so-called failed projects ended up being incinerated in the crematorium ovens. Then, she decides to check that and indeed there were human remains of girls in the crematoriums. The teenager goes with the woman and lets her know that she was right, and she answers that they must leave the place immediately, but the young woman refuses, since she wants to wait for her brother who will be born soon. The next day the young woman is collecting the things that she thinks are necessary for her escape, but her mother caught her, so the young woman makes excuses for her behavior, and the robot notices she's nervous. From one moment to another the mother locks her up in a room, and goes to where the strange woman is, and tells her that she knows everything, since she recorded them, when they planned their escape. She wants more details of the humans in the caves, but she refuses to give her information about them, and then the woman waits for the right moment to jump on the robot, and try to kill her, but she gets quickly subdued by the robot. Meanwhile, the young woman manages to escape, and turns on the alarm to distract the robot, so she can leave with the woman from that dangerous place. When they get together, the woman says they must leave immediately and come back for her brother and the embryos later. They decide to go out, but they cannot open the door, since it's controlled by the robotic mother. At that moment, the robot arrives and tries to convince her daughter to regret her actions. The woman, seeing no more escape, decides to take the teenager hostage, to force the mother to open the door. The mother has no alternative, so she opens the door, and lets them out. Outside, they have a little discussion about the improvised act that the woman had to perform in order to leave, but after a bad moment they relax and start their way to the mines. Shortly after a drone passes over them, one much larger compared to the robot mother. They have to run towards some corn crops, where they can hide. The teenager asks the woman what are all those crops and those machines that are growing them, to which she replies that they arrived about 6 months ago, and since then the air quality has improved. On their way to the mines they pass through several abandoned places that were inhabited by people in the past. After walking for a long time, they both arrive at a beach where the woman enters a metal wagon where the teenager asks her where the others are, and she answers that they are in a kind of tunnels, but that she separated from them a long time ago. The woman explains that such place was dangerous, since very bad things happened because of the hunger and fear they had, so that's why she left. They argue again and the teenager decides to come back for her brother. When she gets home, or at least what it was a few days ago, she is welcomed at the door by a few dozen androids who aim straight at her chest ready to shoot her. The teenager just raises her hands and says, "I just want to talk to my mother," so the androids get aside and she manages to enter, taking an axe and preparing for whatever is going to happen. The mother was waiting for her with her brother in her huge, metallic arms. The teenager takes her brother in her arms, but then she runs and closes the door, so that her mother would be trapped between the doors. Then, the teenager asks her to stop everything by threatening her with a weapon, since the androids outside try to enter by force, and the mother replies that those androids and she share the same conscience. Some kind of artificial intelligence that handles everything, even the machines that grow plants outside. She also confesses that she was the one who had to intervene in the extinction of humans to be able to recreate and improve them, since the humans were very destructive. That is why she started her embryo project. The teenager cries and asks her mother to let her recreate the world, to trust her, and after a moment of reflection, her mother decides to give it a chance, and asks her to kill her. In a sudden change of camera we see how one of the androids arrives at the metal box, where the woman that the teenager left behind lives, and the robot comments, "It was not a coincidence that you have survived so long unlike the others. What happened is that you had a mission, until now," and he closes the door, locking himself with the woman inside the metal wagon. Back with the teenager, we see how she goes to the room where the embryos are, and she is determined to create the new world. The end.
If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe to continue receiving the recaps of the best sci-fi movies. I hope you are doing well, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.